If you must be successful as a married person, you must have your husband's support.
Hello, welcome to another episode of the Business of Baking Season 2, Evolve, telling the stories between. Today with me, I have a very amazing and very creative veteran baker with me who has been in the industry for a very long time. And she's going to be sharing her amazing baking experience with us. So today, meet Mrs. Teresa Okon. Good morning,
Hello,
ma.
everyone. Hi. Beams, it's a pleasure to be here with
Such a
you.
pleasure to be here too, ma.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
ma.
you for having me.
Thank you too for honoring the invitation. We're so grateful that we get to share um, your journey in the baking industry, because it's very important that we document this journey so that those of us that are coming behind can have a template to actually really work with. So thank you for doing this.
My pleasure.
Yes. So we're going to just go into the everything, and I don't know if you can just let us meet you briefly.
Okay, my name is Teresa Okon. I am a mother of two. I run Coco's Cakes and Confectionery. It's located in Bagada. It's actually a bake studio. You know, it's a different concept from what you have everywhere. It's a bake studio and a training school. What do I mean by a bake studio? We do sugar craft mainly. We don't do off-the-shelf cakes. We don't do ready-to-go cakes. We need a turnover time of about 2-3 days, you know, to place our orders and get them done and all of that. So we're located in Bagada. We train students we have different categories for training. We have the full term, which is 2 years, and we have the 1 year, we have the 6 months, it depends on your level of baking before you come to me. Yeah, so I don't just accept to train you. I first interview you and know your skill level and give advice.
Okay, based on what
Based on, yes, my experience as a baker and then your own experience coming to learn from me, because I don't believe only in the money you get from your students. I want to really impact you. And I want to, even after going through me, stay with you through your journey. That's my basic idea.
Still an hand holding.
Yes, I still do hand holding even after you leave me. So I wouldn't want you to come into my bakery and your skill level is low, yet you want to do something for the intermediary. I would advise you, it doesn't make sense.
So
You wouldn't get, yes, you might just know and bring out this beautiful cake after 2 weeks and you'll be like, wow. Then when you now go home, you're stuck. Because you did not learn from the basics. There's no need to run the race. It's our baking industry. It's a marathon.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Yeah, is it a marathon? Yes.
It's not
And
a
not
short-
a short
not a
relay
sprint.
race kind of
Yes.
spontaneous. We are going. No. You take it bit by bit.
bit.
So that's basically who I am in the industry. A woman of many facets. Actually, I do other things. I do interior decor. I sew for clients on the big side.
Oh,
Yes, because we don't have good tailors for the big side people.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I know. So I make clothes for clients on the big side. I do interior. I actually studied quantity surveying at the University of Ife.
Okay.
Graduated, worked for HFP when they were building Dolphin Estate and then VGC.
Okay.
You know, but the distance was just too long from Bagada. I was willing to have my babies. I didn't want to start going all the way to VGC and all of that. So I just quit and said, okay, let me start life by myself and for myself.
Okay.
And that's where I am today.
Oh, wow. I think that's one of the things that happen when you get to meet people, because you probably have an idea of who they are. And when they now tell you about themselves, like, oh, wow.
I'm like, oh, I didn't know.
I didn't know this, because I wasn't even aware that you make clothes for big size people. And I think that's actually a major challenge for big size people.
Yes.
So that's very commendable.
You know how difficult it is for us when we get into a place and we don't find our size. You're like, oh no, don't do this to me.
So you're in two major industries,
Yes.
not just one.
Yes, not just one.
I think we're still going to ask you how you're able to manage.
Oh my goodness.
How long have you been baking now?
Officially, I saw something on Instagram. Somebody was asking, when will you claim to be the beginning, the starting point of your baking? Is it when you got registered or when you actually started baking?
Oh,
And I said, good question, because
Oh.
that applies to me. I collaborated in making my wedding cake with a
Okay.
very wonderful woman in Ife at the time, a professor's wife. So I was baking in, I would say commercially, I started baking in 1998.
Wow. That's like
Commercially,
20.
not registered,
Yeah, but you were
but
already
commercially, yes.
baking for money.
Yes, baking for money.
That's like 26 or 27 years ago.
Even, yeah, about that. Even
Wow.
more than that. No,
Oh,
that's 97 to 2024. Yes.
almost 30 years.
So that's when I started baking commercially. It used to be Valentine cakes mostly,
Okay.
you know. In school, you had to, if you didn't come from a bourgeois background where you were doled with money and all of that, you had to survive, you know. So I started baking in Ife. Valentine cakes. The week for Valentine, I wouldn't go to classes. Don't be like me. Go to classes. Because I'll be so swamped with orders, you know, and used to be, hey, guys making Valentine cakes for their girlfriends, you know, so we'll do that. Then we started adding flowers. Then fresh flowers started coming in from South Africa.
Okay.
We used to rush to Lagos to buy fresh flowers.
So you come all the way from Ife?
Yes, to Lagos, buy our fresh flowers just in time. Go back to Ife, my cousin and I. So she was doing the fresh flowers side,
Okay.
and then I would do the
Okay.
cake side. And then we even started singing. So it's not just to make your order, you pay an extra to sing. So baking was fun. It started as fun, a hobby, so something to do to make extra money for something I enjoyed doing. You know. So that's how it began, and I officially got registered in 2013.
Oh, okay.
Yes, that's when I decided to make it a business. You know, it wasn't just for friends and family anymore.
Alone.
It was now for anyone who wanted my kind of cake. You know, in 2013, my husband was the one that spurred me because I was into so many things. In the early 20s, 2003, 2004, we started having private banking. You know, Citizens Bank, all those kind of banks came up, you know, and people were in need of corporate wares.
Okay.
So I used to go to Italy and France to buy corporate wares, suits, perfumes, for male and female, shoes, belts, and all of that. And it was fun too, you see. It was fun. I would just I would just go do my thing and come back and sell and be like, hey, okay, then I'll go again, do my thing and come back and sell. But my husband asked me a question. He said, which one of your businesses that you do can sustain you in old age? Because this is your pension. You know, then we didn't have like the pension scheme we have now that it was so available to everyone. You're working for yourself. What is your pension? Which one of your businesses can you run through that can give you a pension in old age? And I said, oh, wow. I didn't think about it. Yes.
And I've never thought about it.
Yeah, I didn't think about it, you know. And unfortunately, a year after, he died. So he died in 2014. So it was good that he had spurred me at that time. And I said, hey, okay, sewing and cakes.
Okay.
I would not always have the strength to get up and go do buying and selling, so to speak. I wouldn't have that. I know there's a lot of clients owing people in that sector.
Yes.
I wouldn't have the energy to start running after
Chasing
clients
people
for my money. So which one of my businesses would give me that leverage at the end when I'm too, I don't want to use the word old, but when I'm too relaxed to chase after clients and all of that. And I decided on sewing and baking. So that's when I decided, okay, let's make this thing a business and let's put the structures down and make it complete. But unfortunately, I took a break, kind of, which was also good, because when my husband died in 2014, I had to leave the country with my children. I went to Canada for a while, was in Canada for about 5 years. Off and on, I would go in and go out, you know. Then I just said, okay, if you're going to make baking your business for old age, so to speak, train yourself. Because all this while is, oh, my mother used to bake. Oh, my auntie baked. Oh, I used to join this person in baking. Oh, can I see your recipe and all of that? So it was never, ever
Something that you had really
Yes,
trained.
build that structure.
Yes.
So I applied and got admitted to Bonnie Gordon College. It was a blessing, still is a blessing, because when I joined Bonnie Gordon College in Ontario, Canada, Bonnie Gordon herself was about 64. So it kind of validated my idea. If this lady at 54 has this kind of structure, I can do it.
Being in Canada for 5 years and attending this this school,
Yeah,
this
Bonnie
college
Gordon.
but then
Bonnie Gordon.
Bonnie Gordon.
Gordon,
Okay,
yes.
I need to get that. Bonnie Gordon.
Yes.
And attending Bonnie Gordon, the college, and coming back to Nigeria. How has that experience been, being back in Nigeria and continuing the business here in Nigeria compared to when you were in Canada?
Okay, coming back to Nigeria, like I said, Bonnie Gordon was a blessing because it opened my eyes to the structural side of the baking industry. You know, here, if you ask well, before now, maybe before 10 years ago, how did you start learning? It's either you went to Wilton School or the Sugar Flare School in the UK.
Yes.
And how many people could afford to do that? I couldn't, but I was baking, you know. So I just felt, hey, I can come replicate something like that here. Good enough, the industry was just ripe for it. Because thanks to people like, I must say, I don't know if I have to, I can mention her name. Yeah, thanks to people like Cakes and Cream, you know, that had gotten people aware that you could have cakes in different flavors and different shapes and sizes and whatever. I bless that woman every day because she helped the industry explode. You know, people, she made cake more aware. It wasn't seen anymore as a rich man's food.
Yeah.
Because if you, I don't know if you know the history of cake. It started with Marie Antoinette. A princess turned into a queen that loved to eat cake. And because she loved cake so much, she just felt, look, any problems that they had in England, France, that era, at that time, let them eat cake and everything will be all right. So that coined slogan came, let them eat cake. It used to be for bourgeois, for the rich, high and mighty people. But Cakes and Cream made people know that, hey, the average man can afford to eat a good cake. So more and more people like wanted to, and before you know what's happening, sugar craft came in.
Yes, yes.
People started doing wonders with fondant. Fondant was not something that you ever thought of before. You know, it was marzipan. I don't know, the old ones that will know what marzipan is. It was marzipan. You wanted your cake to look nice and, you know, smooth. You will first finish with marzipan and then go on to royal icing. Or you do royal icing direct. If you do royal icing direct, you have a lot of work because you wait for that first base to dry, which takes about 6 to 8 hours. Then your final coating again in icing sugar, you know, in royal icing. So when marzipan came, marzipan now sets the base. Let me explain it in layman's terms. It's like if you watch, I tell my students when they come, go to a building that's being constructed and watch the bricklayers work. When you watch the bricklayers work, you would understand better what we do with cake. You have to create a smooth base before putting in the final touch around it.
Yeah.
You know. So coming back to your question, how did I do the transition?
Yes.
The weather in Canada is cold.
Yeah.
I tell a lot of my clients when they bring those pictures to me and say, oh, want it like this? I'm like, hey, we don't live in Canada.
This is Nigeria.
This is Nigeria.
Extremely different. Opposite
That is,
weather.
it's crazy, you know. When we were thinking 2-3 weeks ago, we're doing 38 degrees, you know, and I'll call my children and they'll be like, so mom, we hear you guys are burning up. I say, yes, we are. Whereas they, I think you'll have to put on stuff to make it cold. Now you bring those kinds of cakes and you say, you want it like this. Like, please now.
Be
So at first, yes, be realistic. At first, when I got there, I'd been working with fondant, I'd been working with buttercream, I'd been working with the other mediums, realizing and I was using the Nigerian way over there. It wasn't working. It was, look, the outcome was not what I wanted. It was not what I was used to. the same thing happened when I did the transition down here, and I started using their own way of doing things to put in the ganache first. You know, it would solidify, and then you put in the, oh my goodness, I used to fight with my fondant. I would fight with my fondant a lot. Over there, not too many people use make fondant from scratch. You go and you buy your ready-made fondant because it's easily available and it's affordable and all of that. So why bother to do from scratch? But here, where it's not available, I now said, okay, let me do mine from scratch. It wasn't working. It wasn't working. Not with the recipes that they gave us over there. You know, it was just not working. So again, I had to start learning how to make fondant the Nigerian way, so that it can stay on cake. How to first do the dirty icing, you know, make that crusty bit, and then use the fondant. So it's totally, it's the flip.
So you had to kind of relearn.
Yes, relearn. They say unlearn and relearn. I didn't unlearn because when I visit Canada, I use their method.
You use their method, but
yes,
when you're here,
I
use the method that works for Nigeria. Yep. Wow. So if a baker from Nigeria, because now we have a lot of people that are relocating outside the country.
Call it the word, it's jackpot.
And a lot of them are usually getting there and they are realizing that their recipes and all that, they are not working. So you now need to relearn what works in that climate.
You have to.
So there's really like no universal.
No.
So you have to get to a place and see what's working in this
place. Yes.
That makes sense.
Even here in Nigeria, you wouldn't believe it. Even here in Nigeria, when I go to Abuja to work in Abuja, it's a totally different method that I use.
Wow.
Because the climate there is
different.
And depends on the time of the year too. Yeah. Even here in my house, you know, I attended there's this thing that Olam does. You know, Olam, they produce baking flour. You know, so I went for their course in Oshodi, in Apapa here, and that was when I learned how to get the humidity of your environment. Because in the rainy season it's quite different. That's why a lot of people complain and say, oh, my fondant is sweating.
Yeah.
That's humidity. So when your fondant is sweating, there's a way to pre-treat the fondant so it doesn't sweat. But that's not the same thing you do during the dry season. Your fondant now become too hard. So when I tell people I use glycerin in my fondant, they're like, everybody wants away from glycerin, thinking that glycerin is the culprit. It's not. It's the humidity of where you are that does the craziness with the fondants.
I get it.
So that's the transition. Yeah. You have to come this way.
You use what works.
Works there.
When you're here, you use what works here. Well, I think people who are relocating and then having these issues will actually now begin to get that they need to actually go and relearn for where they are rather than just
Yes, and the beautiful thing is Michael's over there. Michael's, they do some weekend courses.
Okay, that people can
for
easily
about
take.
$20 or so. Yes, that you can just take. You know, to accustom you to the way they do their own things there. And because you already know, because you already have an idea, it won't take you. It's no rocket science at all. You would know what to do and what they're doing.
Since you're not a novice,
yes,
you just need to understand
what's working and why they're using certain things that they're using.
Thank you, Ma. So over the last 27 years that you've been baking, what's your most memorable baking experience?
It's like asking a mother, who's your favorite child?
Oh,
for me, because I don't do, like I said, I don't do ready to go cakes.
Yeah.
So every cake you should watch me when I'm finishing my cakes. I talk to them.
Wow.
Because they're my babies. You know, I talk to them. So I wouldn't say there's any memorable one. Well, I can't easily call to mind one. Each and every one of it has its own experience. At just that time, you're enjoying it. But what I can say is for every cake that I have done, I have enjoyed the process. Because I do a lot of pre-planning. Pre-planning before making the cakes. And that pre-planning stage, I troubleshoot a lot.
Okay. So you already see the outcome. Then you plan from the outcome.
From the outcome and work backwards.
Yeah.
Yes. So
nice.
every cake is an experience on its own that I've enjoyed doing. Yes.
One of the things that you've said so far, and you keep saying, is that you don't do ready to go cakes, and you're just so you do custom cakes.
Yes.
You do sugar crafts.
Yes.
And so, how are you able to stay on that lane and not get swayed that okay, maybe like ready to go cakes can bring quick money. So how are you able to just stay on that lane, stick to the niche without getting
Okay.
swayed by everything going on?
I would say because of the kind of person that I am, I have really been blessed in the sense that I have learned to be content. And contentment gives you discipline. Yeah, because the very first course that I attended, it wasn't even on cakes or anything. It was on bringing out the artistic you. That was a thing, bringing out the artistic you by the Betty Clark. She's late now.
Okay.
During our first, it was a 1 week course, kind of very funny, very nice, very laid back. We were about 10 or so. She said something. She said, look, it is not wrong to be in business and not make profit. At first, when she said it, I was like, oh, no.
Everybody's in business.
Everybody's. Then she said, yeah, look at the NGOs. You can be in business just to impact people. But of course, that means there's something else that is feeding.
That is funding.
Yes, your life. And you can be in business to make maximum profit. It's not bad too. Find your niche. Find where you want to be. And stay there. Don't be afraid of the people at the top. Don't be afraid of the people at the bottom. Because you are where you want to be. Have your idea. This is what I want to do. Play with it over and over again in your head until you're satisfied, you're content with what you want to do, and then go for it. So the kind of person that I am, I'm not afraid to be going on the other direction when everybody's going this way. Because before I go there, like I said, even for my cakes, I pre-plan. I do troubleshooting. So if I head in this direction where nobody is going, what are the obstacles I'm going to face? Am I equipped to overcome these obstacles? If my answer is yes, 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 I'm not afraid. I will take it with the grace of God. So having not gone into ready to make, it's those who I need to tell you, if they want to be truthful, it's hustle. You're going to deal with staff, you're going to deal with customers, you're going to deal with Nigeria, if you know what that means.
Of course.
You know, and I don't think I'm cut. No, I'm not cut out for that. No, I'm not cut out for that. I'm also blessed with the fact that look, this space is mine.
Okay.
So I'm not paying rent.
Okay.
Okay. Yes, but I inculcate rent
Into the costing.
into my costing.
Yes.
It's absolutely necessary. So that is profit to the owner. So Coco's Cakes is totally different from Teresa. Coco's Cakes pays me at the end of the year. I found out very early on that Coco's Cakes cannot afford to accumulate its rent and pay me. So it pays me monthly.
Okay.
It pays me monthly. So what did I do? This is a 3-bedroom. I have 2 sons. So I just built 2 bungalows for my 2 sons when I'm not here, when I'm gone. Okay? And this is a replica of what's on the other side. Now, this is 3-bedroom. I don't need 3-bedroom for my business. So what I did, I'm renting out 1 room.
Okay.
So the rental value of that 1 room is what pays me rent.
That's brilliant.
Like I said, I do a lot of troubleshooting.
Oh, that's brilliant.
So just in case Coco's Cakes cannot afford to pay me rent by being Coco's Cakes, Coco's Cakes is actually renting out 1 room.
1 room
Here. And the income from that 1 room comes as rent to me.
Wow.
So if I have my mobile car, I did it for purpose, mobile car. So it's not a big thing, you know, but it takes me from one point to the other. I can feed myself. My kids are all grown, you know, and working themselves. What do I really need? What do I really, really need? whatever I have is to do charity, to help my family members, and and all of that. As I say, I'm blessed. It's just God.
So when you were thinking about the pension stage, so it's also going to the back where you say you plan ahead. So this is not something that you're doing for the rat race or anything. This is a cool down.
This is a cool down, enjoy your life kind of thing. Like I said, and for those who are doing it for the rat race, look, there's nothing wrong
with it.
There's nothing wrong.
But this is your own.
This is my own
journey. This is your own.
This
truth.
is my own bubble.
Yeah.
And I'm comfortable
with it.
For those who feel that you have to go, you have to do, fine. It's good. That's your truth. This is my own truth. It works for me. If you feel you want to emulate me, after I went for a Ikorodu fair, and someone called me later and she said, I want to be like you. Please, ma, how can you help me be like you? And I said, that question, it carry belle, as we say in Nigeria. You cannot want to be like me because you don't know why I am here. So when I give you my story of why I'm here, then you cannot tell me, yes, I want to be like you.
And that's why we are doing this, so that when people hear your story, they can draw their lessons from it.
From it, yes. Yes. So it comes with discipline,
Yeah.
Because they will say, who know like better thing? So it comes with a lot of discipline. And it comes with a lot of shunting of certain things. My friends, those who really are my friends, they know I don't do parties. If I come for your party, you must be really close to me. I don't do parties because parties come with buying a show, buying a show,
buy fuel to go there,
do makeup, do all of that. I can't afford that. So if you're that kind of person, fine, welcome to my world. But there are a lot of sacrifices that you have to do to be content in that space. It's to satisfy all these other things that one does all the rat race. My nickname is Ijebu Ibibio. I'm Ibibio. I'm Ibibio. I come from Akwa Ibom State, yes. But I've learned to be prudent. So prudent that I spend my 1 kobo after thinking.
Which is not a bad thing, actually.
It's not a bad thing. And for those who feel that, spend your money, this one life, enjoy yourself, it's not a bad thing either. Yeah. It's just what makes you you. Do you, as they say.
Thank you. This is probably one of the most exclusive ones we've had. And I'm so grateful that you're being very honest and vulnerable, answering those questions and telling your own truth. Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm known for that, because my friends, they say, you want to know, if you have a question, you want to know the truth, ask Tessie. I don't mean words. I'll tell you the truth. Because it's for your own good. And I expect same.
Yes, you expect
if I call you my friend, I expect same. I expect same. You can edit it if you want.
Okay. So this baking industry, this our industry, it's actually something that it keeps evolving, it keeps changing, new trends keep coming up, new things keep coming up. Although sometimes it's a reinvention of something that was already
before.
Yeah, that comes up again and becomes a trend. But with the way you've now decided to stay in a particular niche, how are you able to still, evolve with the trend, but still maintain your own niche, that this is who I am, and not, get carried away?
Okay. I love trends. It's not as if I don't. I practice them on my own. But again, Nigeria is unique. Some of these trends are not money-paying trends. They may not even be knowledgeable trends by our clients. I'll give you a typical example. I did a cake. Somebody just said, okay, give me a buttercream cake, I don't like sugar. I don't put too much sugar in the cream, just make it something lighter. So I did a naked cake for my client. She, short of crying, she almost cried. I was like, you didn't finish my cake.
Wow.
What's this? Why? I can still see the cakes. What's happening here? And I was like, it's trending. This is what I had to show her, like, look, no.
You know what I want.
It's not what I want. But I told her, but you said you don't like cream. You don't want fondant. I don't want, no. Isn't that the one that they tear like this? Yeah, I don't want that one. Okay, then it's buttercream or whipped cream. Now you don't want cream. What does that mean? But you want to decorate it. So I did a little, naked, and naked cake was trending at the time. So I did a little naked cake, and she was almost livid. That it was not finished. It didn't look finished. Then there was another one that I did that, you use the palette knife and you create those things.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. The lady said I didn't know what I was doing.
Wow. A palette.
So yes. So it's one thing in the baking industry to have an idea that is trending. It's another thing for the clients who are paying for this baked good to also know that that is a trend.
Wow.
It's not because it's trending in the baking industry, then you apply it and give to your clients. Especially when they give you free reign. Be very careful. So I've come to realize that, trends, I love trends. They do. Some of them are crazy, but some of them make a lot of sense, But your clients, do they even know that that's trending? They may not even know. 1. 2, can they afford it? That's another aspect of trending.
For example, we're in the ganache.
Oh my goodness.
Right now.
And we know how much chocolate is right now.
And cream.
And cream. So you want to trend with ganache. And you give your clients a bill. And the one that annoys me is when they say, oh, Lagbaja can do it for
a cheaper
lesser
price.
fee. Did you tell Lagbaja that it's ganache that you wanted? Or maybe, So that's one thing with trend. Trend is good. But is it paying trend? Because bottom line, you're not doing the cakes. You're not trending for your bakers, your fellow bakers. You're trending for your clients to purchase. 1, can they afford to purchase? And 2, do they even know that that is trending? So that's my take with trend. Yeah, and even with clothing, I'm known not to do trend. I trend after the trend. When the trend has gone, then I just be like, okay, let me even try this thing on, because I don't know, because of the kind of person that I am.
Thank you, Ma. So some of the things you've talked about contentment, you've talked about discipline. What are the other principles that actually guide your approach to business and life?
I would even say the first one is my religion. I'm a Catholic, practicing. My religion is first. That's what guides me. The WWJD, what would Jesus do? That's what guides me. Even with my profit margin, I always ask, when is profit enough? Because in Nigeria, we are the ones killing ourselves. I don't know how viral this is going to get, but it's the truth. When is profit enough? For something that I do, just like what you're talking about, I'm happy. Too many people are doing baking trends. Not too many people are doing business trend, if I'll call it that.
Yeah.
It's one thing to bake. What about the structure? And that's what we lack, not just in the baking industry, across board. You die today, your job, your industry, your business dies with you.
It's gone.
That same question, what is going to give you your pension at the end of the day, should push you to put structures down. And believing in that structure. So I said the first in my religion. Yes, because it guides me in everything, in my interaction with you. I want my yes to be yes and my no is no. I want my clients to be able to place an order and go to sleep. I will give you an example. Somebody wanted a Chelsea cake for her husband. She placed the cake. So the order, I asked her, when do you want this order? She said, oh, give me a date, maybe like a Wednesday or so. So I said, okay, fine. So Tuesday night, I sent her the pictures. And she wakes up in the morning and she says, the cake is ready. I said, Ma, she wants it today, is it? She said, no. It's for Saturday. It's for Saturday. I said, you see, again in business, let there be a trail of conversation. So even when you speak on the phone, I always send you a WhatsApp message saying, our phone conversation says this, blah, 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 blah. Please confirm. So I sent it back to her. I said, but you said Wednesday. She said, yes, because she's been disappointed many times before. When they would ask for, I think somebody even posted recently on Instagram that a wedding cake was booked for and the thing never came, and they said it was traffic or whatever.
A baker said he had the same experience on his own wedding day. He booked the wedding cake and he didn't get the wedding cake.
Exactly.
A baker himself.
So,
from
so this
another
woman
bake-
actually did not, she's been disappointed so many times. So this was her first order with me. And she was like, oh, please, let me tell her Wednesday. I actually need this cake for Friday. But it was ready on Wednesday. And she was like, no, no, no. So where am I going? I don't have space in my house. Blah, 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 blah. I said, madam, I don't have space in my bakery either. You know, but we came to a compromise. We sorted it out. So I want my yes to be yes and my no be no. Know me as someone who has integrity. If I tell you it's 50,000, it's 50,000. Even if the money is going to go up next week, even if prices of things go up next week,
it's still
50,000. As long as you paid. You know, there's always the exception to the rule. So that's one, my religion. Two, organization. People know me as being very organized. Yes, I do a lot of labeling, a lot of places. Look, I want my when I scream here, you know, there's this thing going around now. What will your boss say or whatever? Mine will say, I want to get it when there's no light. So even in the dark, I want to be able to move in my bakery and go to a particular place and pick up what I want because that's what it's meant to be. It turns me crazy when I'm looking for a rectangle mold and I find it in a mold that is written circle. My head can.
So all the molds are not in one place?
No, they're not in one place. Each, and even the rectangle one. In Bonnie Gordon, we're taught how to quantify labor. And labor is per hour. You know, over there you pay per hour.
Yes.
So it's not right for you to bill your client for the time you spend looking for a particular instrument. It's not the client's fault that you're not organized. You should be organized such that instead of spending 20 minutes looking for a particular implement, you spend 2 minutes because you know where it is. And the work continues. So it helps with efficiency to be organized. You get things done well and quickly. So I think for me, those two things, organization and my religion, are the two driving forces for me. Because from organization, you get discipline. When you organize, you can't be organized and not be disciplined, and vice versa. You can't be disciplined and not be organized. It just will not work. I've learned over time to relax a little bit because in my bakery, when I first started here, I didn't have chairs. So when my students come in, no chair, you can't sit. And I tell them my story. When we went to the Wilton School, when I went to Wilton School for a course, we did that course for about 10 days. There are no chairs. In Bonnie Gordon, there are no chairs. Yes, while you're being tutored, there are no chairs. But maybe when it comes to designing and all of that, yes, then you can pull out your chair. But when you're being tutored, you don't sit.
Wow.
So I tell people, if we have to do it right in Nigeria, let's do it right. This washed down attitude to things is what's killing us. You watch any of these network programs that has to do with baking or whatever. You see the chefs, they stand. If you watch them, their legs are slightly apart, slightly. You are told to stand with your feet on the same level as your shoulders. It's for balance. And then your two hands at your back. It's for balance, so it's not show, it's not a physique. It's for balance. So that you can remain standing like that for 7 hours.
Wow.
Because you've shifted your center of gravity here. You're not leaning here, you're not leaning here. So you can actually stand and take your instructions. I did a stint at the college, George Brown College in Ontario, in Toronto. And it's the same thing. There are no chairs. You stand throughout. You don't even lean. If you lean, you leave the class.
Wow.
Because they're training you to be a chef.
Wow.
So discipline, organization, my religion, 3 driving forces to answer your question.
Wow. Thank you. And I think there's something that exposure to things outside of your what you know, there's something it does for you, because I don't think I've ever had this before.
I know. That's why I said it was an eye-opener for me. Going to school abroad, going to school, not just abroad, but if you ask anyone, they will tell you. Bonnie Gordon is a private school, so it's not government owned, it's not public, right? So Bonnie Gordon, top notch. She's no longer, it's no longer running, I hear. I've not been back to Canada in a long while. But George Brown is public, it's a college. You get your diploma from George Brown. It's the same thing. They expose you, you understand why things are done in a certain way. And like I said, for them, they have done the trial and errors. And they've come out with this formula that is working. Why don't we pick these things? So each time I'm called to teach, either ISIS here in Lagos or in Abuja, I always teach the business side of baking.
Which is very important.
Which is as important, if not more.
Yeah,
because you can learn how to bake all the recipes. If you don't have the business structures, it won't last.
Yes.
It won't last. The one that irks me, that really just gets to me, is the use of the hairnet and makeup. Now, I ask, why do we use the hairnet? It's to prevent hair follicles from falling into whatever it is. And they are so tiny that you don't see them, right? So you don't even know if they are falling or not. No. But to prevent it from falling into your big goods, you wear the hairnet. So you see people with hair as long as this. Our European sisters have theirs natural as long as this, yes. But it is all packed into that hairnet. You pack it into a bun and then you cover your hair. Not a single strand even shows. Then you know that they're doing it the right way. But here, we just put the net.
Here, and the hair is still...
And the hair is still... I'd rather don't even put the net on.
No
Let me even know that you're not putting the net on. Let me know that you don't know what you're doing. Than to ascribe to know what you're doing. And you just wear the net and it just covers here. And all your hair is showing. It's the hypocrisy of a Nigerian. It's typical of us. So don't even do it at all. And let's know you're not doing it. Then there was this back and forth thing about wearing gloves. I said, yes, this table has got to be rattled. When do you wear gloves and when do you not wear gloves? Here I teach as I was taught in Canada, and I think it has worked. We wash our hands ever so often while you're working. So I don't need to wear gloves while I'm working. Another reason is because I don't have nails. I shouldn't keep nails. As a baker, really, you shouldn't keep nails. If you want to say, oh, what this woman is talking about is old school, is whatever, go buy a microscope or a magnifying glass. Peel out what is under your nail and look at it. What you will see there will be amazing to you. You will actually see them moving. And then you're putting that in someone's food and you say you don't wear gloves. You're poisoning the person. They say dirty no they kill African man. It's true, but but let's do the right thing.
Yes.
You know,
yes.
If you want to keep nails, it's good. Wear gloves. Just to be on the safe side. Wear gloves.
Wow.
I know.
I mean, it's really been, and I think this happens every time we get to interview people. When they share, it's usually very like skills falling off your eyes, like, oh, I didn't know this before. And that's why I'm really very particular about this. Like, people who have gone ahead of us, can you please just tell us, you know, can you tell us what to do based on your experience and your exposure? And I think for me, some of the things you've said so far, I'm making notes of the things I'm going back to go and change in my own space already. So it's been so enlightening so far. And my next question is going to be that obviously, if you are doing any kind of business in Nigeria, there's challenge.
Definitely. Definitely.
Because even Nigeria alone is
It's a challenge.
So what are the major challenges that you're currently facing and how do you still navigate them?
Staffing. Yep. I'm going to rattle that table. Staffing. Now, I know a couple of years ago, one of our leaders said, oh, the lazy youth. The youth, they are too lazy Nigerian youth. And there was an uproar about it. I'm like, the people that are making this uproar, you've not employed people. If you employ people, you understand where this person is saying this from. You get to employ people. I, for one, I run a bakery You'll be surprised to hear that my staff don't work weekends.
Wow, that's
No matter the amount of work I have, except I'm going to deliver a cake,
okay.
maybe a wedding cake or whatever for the weekend, for that Saturday.
Yes.
And I pay you extra just for coming to work on Saturday.
Okay, I think I need to understand how it works. I know weekends are the day at the baker day.
Yes. You see, because I'm first a mother before a businesswoman.
Okay.
That's my principle to life. And you're here working for Coco's Cakes, 9 to 5, if you close by 5, every day, Monday to Friday. What time do you have to train your children? We are complaining about the way children are today, blah, blah, blah. Like I said, sorry, I don't know how far this will trend, but the average Nigerian is a hypocrite. We speak with one mouth, forgetting the effect on the other side. We are talking about how children are being neglected, but mothers are working. That 9 to 5 is your work hours, but to get to the office for 9, you know you're leaving the house at 7.
Yes.
Your children have to be bathed, fed, and taken to school. Who does that? You really do not know. Or maybe your house help. So our children are left to being trained by house helps. Okay. It can't be helped. Everybody's looking for money. You know. So I say to myself, how many hours do I take from you on Saturday? Can't I let that go? It's not easy.
I can tell.
Yes.
I can tell.
I work here. Sometimes they leave me on Friday and meet me. I strictly do not work Sundays. I don't care.
Okay.
I strictly do not work Sundays. But you can meet me on Monday, still here. As long as the sun has gone down on Sunday, I can work for me, you know, till the next day. So I give my staff all of these benefits. I pay them handsomely too. And just know for no cause, no reason, without notice, you just stop coming to work and you tell me you're done, not working. Goodness gracious. So how much can you satisfy someone? Or you come to work, and I am even a bakery that doesn't do like ready to go. So it's all planned and organized. Everybody knows what you're supposed to do. You come to work and you're sitting down.
When there's work to be
done. Sleeping. When there's work to be done, must I be there to put a tab on you every time? And I'm like, why are you sitting there? I'm tired. For how much I'm being paying you? Or you say you're on the phone. Oh, many times I've seen phones. Yeah, because I don't pay you. If I don't seize your phone, I'll just tell you, hey, you know that at the end of the month, you're not going to get your full salary. I'm not paying you to be on the phone. Except if it's phone for Coco's Cakes, which you're not holding while you're on the phone. If it's an emergency, there's the Coco's Cakes line. Tell your family to call the Coco's Cakes line. If it's an emergency. Not to be just with your mom. Meanwhile, you're supposed to
there's work to be done.
You know, so staffing is major. But how have I overcome that? Let your staff know that they are not indispensable. You know, prove to them that you can do what they're doing, so they don't feel that they are, the all and all for you in your business. Indispensable, yes. Then the other thing is discipline. I do a lot of suspension here. Okay, let me rephrase that. Not a lot of. I have the 3-strike rule.
Okay.
So you have the warning the first time, the warning the second time, the third time is a strike. You go on a 2-week suspension. Now when you come back, and it's not just giving you the warning without telling you what you're doing. You see, that's another thing. Better. Yes, you help the person know, look, this is the reason why what you're doing is negative to me. And these are the repercussions of what you're doing. Should you be doing it or not? Let the person understand the reason behind your annoyance, so to speak. Of course, there are SOPs here. We have SOPs. But you can't, SOPs cannot cover everything. SOPs are dynamic. You keep adding to them, you know. So when the person has been told the first time, the second time, it's like you don't understand what I've been saying on this, not 3 strikes on 3 different things. No, 3 strikes on the same thing.
Okay.
Yeah. So the first time I explained to you, second time I explained, the third time you have to go home because it's like obviously you're doing it on purpose. You know, you don't want to learn. So maybe a little stay in the corner time would help you. And then when you come back, you're going to be told that if this thing persists, you're going to go. You go. And I do severance pay. Why? Because I said, first of all, it's my religion that drives me. I want to be free in my conscience when I'm thinking of you. Betty Clark also taught me something. Says, look, your clients and your staff, there are two things they will do for you, even after leaving you. Either praise you or curse you. So try as much as possible to make it a praise you. You cannot totally eradicate a curse you because everybody's not the same, you know, but as much as possible try and make it a praise you.
That you know you're satisfied, your conscience.
That
I've done
look,
my
I
best.
treated this person well. Even overboard. Person didn't deserve the way I treated the person, but I treated the person well. Go in peace. If I've done you well, fine. If I've not done you well, you know. But it doesn't, it just helps me be happy inside. It doesn't really cure the problem of staffing. Because the next person that comes with his own baggage. And you go through the cycle.
Over and again.
Over and again. It's a Nigerian thing, sorry. You just have to, I don't know, adapt.
And I mean, I'm not old. And I think for my generation, I think maybe we met a different level of education or level of upbringing, because my mom would usually say that this was not how they were raised.
Yep.
She'd say things like, when they were growing up, like the whole society was your mommy.
Yep. It was communal living.
Yeah.
Everybody was responsible for everyone.
Everybody stays in their flat.
Yep.
So nobody knows what's going on. She will go as far as saying that if you do something wrong and they say, I'm going to tell your parents. You are even if they will not tell you, you're as good as dead. And she say we don't have that anymore. So I think maybe there's not a difference in upbringing. Because I think we used to really have good quality of people.
Yes. No, you know, I don't think it's good quality of people per se. I think there's a gap in training, in upbringing. And that was when mothers started doing more of 9-to-5 jobs.
Yeah, because they had to fend for
because they had to fend for the family. The economy got difficult. So you had to come out there, join the workforce, leave the children to be trained by people that were not even trained properly.
Because then most moms the best was maybe not a lot, but a lot of moms were stay-at-homes or maybe just had teachers who would go to work in the morning and, you know, they pick the children when they are coming back from school. Or had a trade where the children can meet their mom at home or things like that.
True.
So right now,
moms were more hands-on,
they
more
were
readily available.
Yes, then.
And then there's this entitlement thing now going on. Everybody is talking about mental health.
Oh, yes.
That's no excuse. It's like my mental health, my mental space.
And don't judge me.
And don't judge me. This is who I am, you know.
Oh my God.
So I don't know where we are headed, but I think don't kill the messenger. But I think mothers have to do more. And fathers.
Yeah.
Parenting. Because it's those little children that grow up and join the workforce. You know.
So if you have children that are well raised from the house, would have better workforce in the society.
Yes. Because it's from the house you learn to wash your socks, wash your plates, sweep your room, lay your bed. You see, it's not that duty, it's not that work that is the koko, as we say in Nigeria. It is that work that is preparing you to be strong when you join the workforce. But if you've always been bathed, fed, your room cleaned for you, whatever, when you now come to the workforce and you're expected to do the strenuous, you start complaining. Because you're not used to it. Yeah, so my mental health is there. That's the new one.
Oh, God.
You know, so I think that's we have to go back. And I say again, not only mothers and fathers.
Fathers need to parenting. We need to get parenting right.
I know it's a lot. I know.
Thank you, Ma. It's been so enlightening having this conversation with you. Because this is already going beyond just baking. We're already talking about real life situations and experiences and how we can overcome it. So if you're going to, let's say that you're going to start all over again with all the knowledge you now have, with all the exposure you now have, what are the things that you think you're going to do differently?
when you told me you were coming to have this interview with me, I asked myself, if you were to go back, I like to watch a lot of sci-fi movies. So if I'm to teleport myself back to, hey, my son will be watching this, I'll be like, Mom, teleport myself to when I started business, I'll tell myself, document, data collection, document and keep. You know, because we learn from our total experience. The way you were doing it 20 years ago, how you did it, how you were able to, your mistakes, how you were able to overcome those mistakes. If I had a diary and I was writing, I would really, really love to go back to that diary and read and find out find it's here, but it's residual here. It's only when you come across certain problems, then you call on that residual knowledge. Yeah. But when it's residual, it's in your head. You can't pass it on. But if it was documented, oh, that's a nice book that will come out, isn't it? And then you can pass it on.
Write a book
on it. Yes, that's a beautiful book that will come out. You know, because it's real life data you'll be reading and analyzing. So that's what I would have told myself then. Document. Keep these things. Keep your recipes that you were using when you were using a clay pot at oven. Yes. You know, because if you ask me what are those recipes now, I don't know. But I can visualize how I was doing it because I did it practical. You know, but the knowledge of it, the recipes, how I was able to get, I was using gel as decor. How I got those, I can't remember, but I know it had to do with jam. But we didn't have gelatin then. So what was I using? I can't remember.
Wow.
But we create beautiful designs, create a barrier and put the gel thing in the middle. And it was something different. I can't, for the sake of me, I can't remember.
Wow. And if that was even written now, it could be a new trend.
And exactly, it could be a new trend. One, and two, you see the European counterpart. You will see 100 years recipe.
Yes.
Because the person wrote it down. And how it worked for that person.
Yes, and that's something that I think generally, maybe in Africa,
we don't do across board.
Yes, and it's also one of the reasons why we're doing this. It's really important that we do. So there are things that, for example, we've talked about parenting. There are things that they were able to parent children who were coming out. I mean, when you talk to people in their 50s, their 60s, the quality of conversations you can have with them, there was a way their parents raised them. If this was documented, they were able to pass it on. And not just that, even maybe, so for example, when we were coming, we were talking about the previous government, how, you know, there was a government that was in power and really focused on green Lagos, building trees, but the next government came and turned those trees, turned them down. But like, there's no documentation for succession.
Yes.
So I really get you on when you said documentation.
Then you were asking about challenges. I just the instability of our economy.
Yeah, especially recently.
Oh my
the
goodness.
Last 1 year, it's been crazy.
I teach pricing, costing, cake costing, and my cake costing is based on data. Because I want to be able to read trend. I, for one, I'll tell you, cocoa cakes in January and February, our expenditure is usually more than our income. Now, when I say expenditure being more than income, I don't mean you ask me, okay, then how did you get the money, right? It's from the savings from the last year. But what are we doing? We're piling on supplies. Because in our industry, that's usually the downtime. Everybody's spending money in November and December, you know. By the time you're ordering cakes for January, I don't know, maybe not too many children were born in January and February, I don't know. But some might just find out that it's our downtime. You know, so I use that opportunity to stock supply because, again, I don't know why. From data that I've been able to gather over the years, I've realized that things start to increase again in March. Somehow the economy just shakes and things start going up. January and February is like, even maybe the marketers themselves who selling the goods, maybe they are fed. So they don't do anything about increase in price. They're like, okay, we have enough money in our accounts. Then they now spend it in January and in February, and in March they're like, we don't have money. Okay, make it 300 naira, you know. But somehow March, April, things go up. I'm not counting the last 1 year. The last 1 year has been every week.
Yes.
So let's leave that one. That one is a fluke, you know. So in when I say instability of our economy, something you buy for 200 naira should please remain 200 naira the whole year. Or if at all you're going to increase, let it be maybe 250 naira, 300, not 700 naira. How can you plan on that?
Yeah.
How can you
even
plan
up
on
to
that?
1,000%
Yes.
increment?
Yes, only in Nigeria, and then we are surviving. How? I don't know. You know. So what I'm trying to, and I'm trying to use this opportunity now to, hey, fling it out there. Our corporations, like ISIS, whatever corporation, we should start doing that thing called cooperation. You know, in the sense, if I go, for example, to Dangote Sugar, and I say, hey guys, can you guys give me 500 bags of sugar every quarter? Now I'm buying directly from source. They are sure that their 500 bags of sugar every quarter is there, it's ordered. Then I come back to my association of 3,000 bakers. And I say, every quarter, beginning from the year 2025, we're going to have sugar at manufacturer's price. Don't you think people will flush out that 500 bags? At manufacturer's price.
And as I'm even thinking about it, I'm like, no, 500 bags is
It's even too small.
small.
Exactly. And every quarter, that means once every 3 months. Bakers will go to that warehouse. I tell you, bakers will pre-order. If I know in September it's going to start, I will save up my money from now and make sure that I get it at that, because Christmas is coming.
Christmas, then Valentine.
Then Valentine, and exactly. So we should start doing, the economy is pushing us more and more to do cohesiveness, synergy, you know, cooperation. Let's pool our monies together and buy directly from the industries that produce them. Cut off the middleman. It's about time. Or we won't survive it, I tell you.
Because it's
getting worse. We won't survive it. So for me, I have a platform, Coco's Cakes. I call it Coco's Cakes 101. Everything like 101, because I like to start from the basics. So on my platform, I throw in there once in a while. If I hear, oh, you know, there's somebody that will call me up and say, I have this lady that does 200 bags of flour every day because she does bread.
Okay.
Right. So somebody introduced us and I was like, please, my own is sugar. Do you use Dangote sugar? And she said, yes. Can I add like 10 people to your supply? You know. So when you go to order, instead of ordering 50 bags as you would do, can I please order extra 10 for me? And then go back to my platform. Hey, I have 10 bags of sugar. They sell sugar, for example, 75,000 naira on the open market. We are going to get it for 65,000 naira. How many people are ready? I'm telling you, it goes. So I'm saying, if me, my own small corner can do this, you can imagine big corporations like, you know, the baking society. We have a couple of them. That is what I think we should be doing. It's not having picnics and, you know, jollophing and making purple balls. Sorry, I'm a member. You know, I think there's a way we can help each other.
When it comes to the business.
When it comes to the business of it, go directly to the people. These things are good enough. Flour, here, sugar, here, eggs, here. It's only maybe the margarine that we import.
Yes.
But if 3 out of 4 we can get directly from the manufacturer or the big wholesale importers, why not if not? And help ourselves. If I can't afford a full bag, I would know 2 or 3 other bakers who cannot afford a full bag like myself. Okay, let's come together and let's buy 1 bag. And we split it into 4. I remember I used to do it when I had children, my house full. We'll go buy a cow. I can't afford a cow by myself. But in church, I would know 7, 6 people that would join me and we'll buy a cow and share a cow. It's cheaper than going to go and buy retail. If we can do it at this level, we can do it at that level. We have the data. We have the paying power. I mean, in the baking industry.
Yes.
Lagos alone, more than 2,000 bakers.
Of course. I'm sure we're up to 5,000.
Exactly. So if we can, I don't know. Somebody will say, okay, why don't you pitch it to your people? Yeah, I know I'm not doing too well there. You know, I'm not active in the association. Okay, for personal reasons. My friends know the reasons. But I think it's something that we can do. We put our minds to it. We can do. If people in the oil industry can have cooperatives where they go out and buy estates and build estates for themselves, oil industry, why can't we? That's where the economy is pushing us to. If you can't see it, let's start seeing it now.
So let's just move beyond baking cakes and move into the business.
Yes, the business of it. It's there because if you don't have your business working well, baking of cakes, even a small 6-year-old can bake cake now. We've seen it on Instagram. But tell her to run a business. I used to be, now let me expose myself a little bit. My secondary school, I used to be, the person that would come first in this, first in that, first in this, first in that. So my juniors, my mates, my seniors, when they see me, I say, we didn't think that you end up here as a baker. Why are you not a manager of somewhere or minister or whatever? And I'm like, do you run your own business? No, I said, that's what you're saying, what you're saying. I think it's easier. Go run your business, let me see. You're doing 30 days, make one pay. It's easy. Get up, show up at work, come back, you get paid. Run a business and you see that you need all the skills that you can get. If you're a staff, you're a follower, it's one of the easiest things to do, be a follower. But to lead, it's only on the armchair that we lead in Nigeria, armchair leaders. Okay, so that's that. So those are the two things I think for me are the biggest of challenges. Every other thing can be controlled. Every other thing can be controlled by you, the owner of the business, in terms of how do you want to run your space, the organogram, so to speak, of how you want to run your space. Yeah, can be done by you. It's just staffing, which is internal and external, and then the economy. That one is not in your control self at all. But we can mitigate it. We can survive it. Somehow, we can survive it. We just have to think, troubleshoot, plan ahead, be ready, be proactive, and we'll survive it. But when we sit down, wait for the stone to be thrown at us, they'll start thinking of, hey, how are we going to heal the wound? Then we'll always be susceptible to stones being thrown at us. But if we know that, hey, on this journey, the stones are going to be thrown at you, so create a shield. When the stones come, you're ready. You're ready. And the numbers are speaking for themselves. At least in the past 5-7 years, numbers are speaking for themselves. Like it's going to come down. It's not. No matter how I want to do boju, it's not going to come down. It will come down a little bit, but it's going to go up. Yeah.
I think sugar went down a few weeks ago.
It's back up. And you can't blame the person who is doing that, because that person too has to survive Nigeria. So we bakers too, how do we survive this Nigeria? The easiest answer, cooperative. Pool your money together. Instead of buying one, buy bulk. And knock off the third party, the middleman. Knock off the middleman.
I think that makes a lot of sense, because so maybe a lot of people are not seeing it this way yet. They're not seeing the full picture yet that you've just painted. Because I know there are already bakers who, even from us, they're like, oh, let's me and my friends buy together to save delivery fee. So they might not see the full picture yet, but now that you've mentioned it, they can now begin to think beyond that and now get to a point where they are now able to say, okay, we can do bigger. We can come together and do bigger things together. And I think that makes a lot of sense.
And no matter how much money I have, right, I can't go to flour mills and say I want to buy 10 bags.
If you don't need all the 10 bags now. But if like 5 of you can use the 10 bags in a week, a month, and that would make more sense. I think for me this actually is really eye-opening. Really opens my eyes to a new dimension. I'm very grateful. That will lead me to another question I want to ask you. If you're going to advise a 25-year-old who is saying, oh, I want to go into the baking industry, this is what I think I I like to do, what would you advise the person to do?
First of all, I'll ask questions. I'll troubleshoot that person first. Why do you want to go into the baking industry? Is it a passion for you? If it is a passion for you, go ahead. Because for the first 5 years, it's not going to pay you if you want to do it right. So you need something to motivate you to wake up every morning and keep going. Every money, every kobo you make in the first 5 years, you're going to have to plow it back. Except if maybe you have one 200 million naira grant, you can play with money as you like. But if you are like 25-year-old, like you say, and you just want to go into a business, and you say baking is where I want to go into, it's an easy level entry business. Yes. I'm going to ask you different questions to stay the long run, to stay the whole journey. Start at the beginning and troubleshoot. Why am I going into this thing? How am I going to do it? What are the skills? That would be my second question. What skills do you have now regarding baking? Do you have skills? My mother used to bake. It's not a skill anymore. So if you have skills, fine. What are your level? What's your level? Your skill level? If it's something that I know you can like start the business and run the business and everything, fine. I'll ask you. So now, sorry, my analytical brain, I've already started for me and I've gone like that. So is it a passion? Yes. Go this way. Continue. Now, if it's a passion, yes. What are your skill levels? Do I have any skills at all? If I have skills, can they start the business? The kind of skills that I have, can they start the business? Or is something that I have to go learn? And good enough, many other places to learn from, good places. Go learn, even if it's just the basics, learn. Then come back and do basic stuff. Don't go and start doing somebody's wedding cake. What I ordered versus what I got. You're killing the industry. Because there's going to be a notion from our clients that they don't know anything. Now, if it's not a passion, let's go on this way. If it's not a passion, find something that is your passion and go for it. We all have one thing we like doing. Some people like talking. Go open, set up something that you're going to sit in front of the camera every time and talk. You will make it because it's what you want to do. And you see, because it's your passion, your head will start bringing in ideas of what to do. If that's not your passion and you say, okay, cake is my passion, fine, follow the cake. What skills do you have? I have these skills. I'm going to start, or I'm going to go learn. I don't have skills at all. I want to learn. Go learn. So the pre-planning for me is even more important than the actual doing. Because when you pre-plan, you've opened up your head, you've done your analysis, and you say, okay, I'm going ahead. Or no, this is not what it is cut out for me. Baking is back-breaking. I tell someone that if you want to know a baker, quickly, watch the person get up from her chair. Watch the person get up from her chair. You know if this person is a baker or this person is just a manager. When I attend, things and it's for baking, I just, oh, this person is a baker. Because your lower back will ache you for the rest of your life. Because of the standing and the rigorous work that we do, massaging fondant and all of that. You have to start thinking of comfortable shoes. You have to, So if it's something you can stand and do. I've had people come to train with me and they're doing a 6-month training. And by the second month, I'm like, don't worry, you can't stand, you can't do it. Don't worry. Let me help you. And from my 2 months with you, I have seen your passion. This is what you should be doing instead. Go and think about it. So that, answering your question, that's what I would do with a young person getting into business and saying, I want to do baking. I will let you see the hard side of it. It's not the glamour. Oh, you come out and you dance and everything. No, that's not it. The hard side of it, the non-Instagram side of it, where you have to be dogged into that trench and you have to do it and be focused and be, like I'm going to succeed in this thing. That's what I'm going to let you see at 25. Vis-a-vis you continue with the other aspects of your life. You're going to want to get married. You're going to want to have children. You know, you're going to have to be there for your children. You know, like I said, I was blessed while I was doing my own thing. I didn't have a house help per se because I always had people in my house, you know. But I made sure that whenever it had to do with my children, it was me. I was present. I was there, you know. And even I still regret some of my decisions. In a way, having my children go to boarding house. If my son will see this, I will go, oh, thank God, because they didn't like boarding house at all, you know. But I knew what boarding house did for me. It made me independent, and that's what I wanted in my children. That's why I pushed them go to boarding house. But if I knew like their father was going to pass, and they were going to be separated like this, blah blah blah, I said, okay, stay at home more. You know, let me be there for you. But I believe it's because I was hands-on with them, and of course, everything I say and do is taken for granted that there's grace behind it. Eh? That's why my children left this country at 14 and 12, and they've been there for 10 years. I've not seen them in 6 years. I've not been back for 6 years. You know, but they've managed to, you know, scale through the hurdles, the culture shock, and all of them by themselves. Maybe because I was hands-on. I see them maybe. And mothers have to, hey, I've diverted now from your question, but it's all part of the 25-year-old thing because you're just starting life, both as an entrepreneur, as a mother, as a wife, as a sister, as a daughter, you know, facing each one heads on. It takes a lot of juggling. Some people make it look easier than it is. It's not easy.
You said you're in the fashion industry, you're also in the baking industry, and both of them are actually really strong industries that I know that they are very, very I won't say difficult, but time consuming. You have to be detailed, you have to know what you're doing. How are you able to combine the two and still be able to satisfy customers?
So yes, I do run Impressions Couture, which is the sewing aspect of my businesses, and then Coco's Cakes. Over the years, I started with Impressions Couture actually. That's the sewing and a little bit of the interior side of it. Like I said, when I left HFP, I needed to focus. I needed to think of what I was going to do with myself, being that I had children, but that entrepreneurial spirit was still in me. So I started with Betty Clark, and then we used to make was like I said, the creative side of you, bringing out the creative side of you. We used to make headbands, fashion earrings, African fashion earrings, and all of that. That's where I started. Then I went to sewing school in Surulere. Now in sewing school, it was draftmanship, what we call draftmanship, so pattern making. I learned the pattern making aspect of you, design and create your pattern. I refused, when I say refused to sit behind the sewing machine to sew. I always used to tell her, she would say, but this is all part of it. I said, mark me 0. This one I missed myself. I will not sit behind this machine. I will always get someone to do the actual joining of the patterns together. Why? I didn't want that backache, which I've gotten to get now. So it started and I enjoyed it. And I was doing for everyone until I realized this aspect that look, big people had this problem. Again, because most people were not going to school to learn draftmanship, pattern making. They were just usual cuts directly. So we cut on paper first. Design, cut on paper before trying. They don't teach it on the street. You have to go to a proper school to learn that. So I just said to myself, the hassle of dealing with clients when it comes to sewing, particularly that I'm one of those tailors that you come to me and you say you want your cleavage to show, I will sew it. So I had that problem, so I said, okay, fine. What are you going to do? Most big people don't want cleavage. Most people, big people don't want the bomb thing, So why don't I just suffer big people? So I have a limited clientele. That's how come I've been able to survive. When I was sewing for everyone, Gbogbo, as they would say, I had a big sewing place, 7 tailors, embroidery people, and all of that. But after my husband passed, and I knew that, look, before you could say, oh, sweetheart, you prepare nice soup, and then you say, oh, I need 20,000 naira, and you're like, what again is it for? By the end of the day, they'll give it to you. I realized that there's no that anymore, but I have to survive. And Nigerians, us, and when you're pushed to the wall is when your creativity comes out. So I just said, stick to big people, make for them, so it's on order. I have my clients. I don't even publicize that aspect, really. I don't. And I give my tailors, and they make. So I spend the nights, most nights when I'm not here in the bakery, I spend my nights drafting, cutting out patterns. And it has gotten so good that most of my clients already have their patterns drafted already. So it's just to make alterations for designs that I have to do, which doesn't take so much. Cut the thing, put them together, put the instructions, and send to my tailor, and they do it. So it's the balance more is for the bakery side. Now I spend more time here than there. Again, because I've seen that for this pension thing, the bakery will give me more pension than the sewing. I can, at the age of 80, still come in here and tell my head baker, this is the way I want it done. This is the way I want it done. But at 80, I don't think I can bend to cut a pattern. Do you understand? So I'm putting more my emphasis on the baking side than the sewing side. The interior is the same thing. I have my painters, I have my construction people. Like I said, I studied QS. So I already have those ones. All I have to do is come and say, okay, the client wants this wall down and wants this here and wants this there. I've picked my thing. I've gone to Mushi. I've done my thing in Mushi and everything. My people know me and I know my people. So I just give it to them. Okay, do it. Then when you're coming to install, I'll be there to make sure that it's installed properly and the way I like it. And that's so it doesn't really. Those are things that you can pre-plan your time and say, okay, I will do this so and so a time, so and so a time. Unlike the baking one where I have to be for now, hands-on because of the kind of baking, the part of the baking industry that I'm in is hands-on. I do the sugar crafting myself, because I love it. It's not as if I cannot get somebody else come and do it. I just love having that blank canvas. The cake has been baked, it has been pre-covered. Now to decorate, look, I just love that part. I could do it for 3 days going straight without sleeping and not feel it. Because what I like, designing. I went to the National Design Academy in Nottingham, and it was one of the best times of my life, just designing, learning the basic principles and all of that. And I was like, oh, really? So there's a reason why this is done and this is done and this is done. And I think it just woke up that flame in me to design, yes. And if you look at the 3 things that I do, it's all designing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you so much, man.
You're welcome.
I'm looking for the best adjective to qualify what it is that we've gotten here today, because it's been very, very enlightening. I mean, there are lots of things that you've said that has actually really opened my eyes to some things that I was not even aware of before. And I'm so, so grateful for the opportunity to actually sit
My pleasure.
and do this with you. And I'm sure that when we call again.
I'm here. I love to also impact the younger ones. So maybe you just said, oh, we're trying to do something so that for those who are up and coming, it's my passion. It's another passion of mine to speak to the young ones and try and let them know what they're doing wrong. And try and let them know that, look, Rome was not built in a day. Don't leave social media life. It's not real. It's not real. Don't look at that person there that is, making it look so easy and nice, and you feel like, oh, I can do it, and then you feel that it's supposed to be like that. It will drive you crazy when you find out it's not like that. So anything to make the younger ones that are coming up know the truth about life. Be grounded. Be grounded. See that grounding thing? Be grounded. Be grounded and know that it's a long haul. It's not a sprint. It's a long haul. So take it as organically as you can, so that you don't, that mental health that we always talk about, you'll not be stressed. Yes.
Thank you so much, man. It's been an amazing experience for me. And then we have a gift for you.
Oh, wow.
We have a gift for you from Beams.
Thank you.
Just say
Thank
thank
you.
you for doing this with us, for sharing your story and impacting life.
Wow, I love this. I love the packaging. You see, how did I know Bean? Anyone who knows me as a baker would have heard me call Bean a lot of times. And it's because you taught me something.
Oh, wow.
Yes, which I say try to do. And which is, for every order I made from you, I got a gift. No matter how small the order was, there was always something different. You know, the first time I looked at it, I actually called you to say, is it a mistake? There's actually something here that I didn't order. And you were like, no, ma, that's your gift for ordering from her. I was like, really? You know? So the first place I would always go to online to order is Beams. Then if Beams doesn't have it, I'll say, okay, let me try somewhere else and somewhere else. And I've been caught many times in other places and I mentioned Beams. And they're like, but ma, you are here now. I'm sorry. So thank you so much for this. It's very typical of you. Thank you so much for this. Yes. Thank you. You're welcome.
We've come to the end of another amazing episode of the Business of Baking Season 2, Evolve, telling the stories between, where we shared the story of Mrs. Teresa Okon of Coco's Cakes, and she shared a lot of amazing and insightful points with us today. And two of them that I'm going to be taking home with and working with immediately is document everything that you can, take pictures, make videos. And the second thing is organizing. She talked about how organized the bakery is, and I've seen it, and it's something that is so commendable. And you can also share with us some of your own lessons in the comment section so we can continue the conversations. Don't forget to like and also share this video with your friends and families. They might also find very insightful things from this video. Thank you, and see you in the next episode. Bye.